Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm DragonflySara and this will be my second video. Just to recap, when last we spoke, I was showing off Hogsmeade Village. You can see it back there in the background behind me. And I have learned a couple of new tricks since I recorded that video. One is that Windows Game Bar does not want me to stop moving while I'm recording. That's how I ended up with those strange blurry lines going through the camera at various parts. It's when I was still for too long. The second is that the question mark on my chest is not due to my skin. So you'll notice that I have a little question mark over my heart, and I've completely redone my skin from the ground up, used the classic template rather than the slim template. So that's why I look a little chubbier this go around, and it doesn't matter. I still have a question mark on my chest. If anybody knows why, leave a note in the comments, please, because I'm really trying to work on that. This video is going to be a summary of the techniques I've used so far, with emphasis on some of the techniques that I may not use again in the future. As you know, I will be bringing you along as I build the rest of this project. So if I know I'm going to use it again later, then I'm just going to do that. But if I'm pretty sure I'm not going to use it, then I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the command block codes and things like that for you today. I am going to do this episode in scenes so that you don't have to follow my camera around as I go hoppity, 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 hoppity all the way through town. I'll just meet you at each location so that we can go over the importance. We are going to start off right here at the path coming into the hills from Hogsmeade. Because it is a path, rather stroned path, it was described as small and hard to follow. It's made out of cobblestone stairs, cobblestone, moss stone, and gravel. You've got all of these elements mixed up to make it look very non-uniform. This was deliberate. And this is one of the ways to bring authenticity to your builds, is to mix up your materials. And I really don't know why that sheep is just hanging around here. I mean, I've been in-game for hours since I did the last recording, and he's just still here. We've had a cow added to it, even. They are supposed to despawn eventually. Alright, I'm going to meet y'all in the townhouses in a few seconds. Welcome back, everyone. We're here at one of the farms on the outskirts of Hogsmeade Village. And you'll notice that I have planted wheat, beetroot, carrots, and potatoes in this little farm plot. The general idea here is that when I put 2 villagers in each of these houses, those villagers are actually going to take care of this farm. I'm not sure how well that's actually going to work, but I am going to give it a try. I'm going to take you on a quick tour through the farmhouse, show you what wonderful fun things I have done. First of all, let me step outside here real quick and show you something. I'm going to turn on this cute little feature that I'll remember the name of later. The yellow crosshatches on the ground show areas that are spawnable in nighttime. When the sun goes down, monsters will spawn in these places. If there's ever red there, monsters can spawn any time of day. And you'll notice that those lines are not inside. I took special care to make sure that none of the interiors of the buildings, with the exception of the post office, the owl office, which does have quite a few exceptions, were spawnable inside, so that villagers could escape into these places to be safe from the monsters. The stairs are something I've played with quite a bit. We're going to play with them a lot more when we do Hogwarts Castle. But you will see that the areas that the villagers are going to be are not spawnable. Also, you'll notice, take note here, that my chimneys smoke. You can hear the fire crackling that's causing that. You can hear that fire on your speakers probably. So I'll be going over how to do that in fireplaces. So, farms, there are 6 of them in total. They were built with World Edit. I built one farm, and then I copied, rotated the clipboard, and pasted the other farms into location, so that one farm doesn't quite look like the next one because it is turned a funny direction. Some of them point, they can point either north, south, east, or west, depending on where they're at. Somewhere here you'll find that those 2 are pointed the same way, and 2 more are pointed the same way. Oh, those 2 are pointed the same way. So these 4 are matched up, but they don't match these 2 at the front at all. And I moved the farms and everything were all rotated. So that's the farms, and I'll meet you back in just a few minutes at the next location. Before we go into any of the buildings, I wanted to take just a moment to inspect this street. As we noticed, the path going into the hills was very rustic, made out of a lot of materials. High Street itself is made of cobblestone stairs and cobblestone slab. It stairs at any step so that you have a smooth going up. You don't have to use jump or auto jump to get up. Auto jump, by the way, for people who are very new, is a really good way for really new people to die often and with incredible zeal. The posts for the lamps are cobblestone wall, and the lamps at the top are glowstone. In the Weasley fashion, the posts don't go down the same distance. Sometimes they go down past the stairs, sometimes they only go down to the top of the stairs. Sometimes they don't even come that far. It just depends on where the ground happened to be when the stairs were put in. So that is High Street. Okay, here we are in Dervish and Bangas, and the items on our shelves do float. For those of us who are very Minecraft, we do know that they float because they are items, not blocks. But they cannot be picked up, and they will not despawn like normal items, because I summoned them with specific codes on a command block. I was, however, not able to prevent this. I do realize that there are ways to make them ignore gravity, but in order to get this effect with them bouncing up and down, I wanted them to bouncing up and down in more or less the same place. I very much did want to use gravity to pull them down. So there's really no way around if someone messes with my shelf. I don't end up with some really interesting artifacts going on here. However, at some point, a customer might do that accidentally, and Dervish or Bangas might have to run downstairs and fix it. Also, they might stop selling compasses and might need to put an extra redstone clock out there. So, to do that, they would come down here. They'd find the shelf in the back where they have their object key compass. They'd change what object that was. If they don't need to make any changes, they don't make any changes. And then they just go to the button corresponding to the shelf above and hit the button. And everything fixes. This is the beauty of command blocks. I've put the sea lantern here to make a easy marker for where I'm supposed to start digging my hole to get to my stairs. It's important to note that no, I am not leaving you in the dark about all the commands there. It was age and pickup time that changed in order for them not to despawn and not to be picked up by people walking by. And I will show you that code in great detail when we build Honeyduke's Sweet Shop. So, this was the command blocks at Dervish and Mengus. We're now in Gladrag's Wizardware, and I wanted to show you the actual code for these command blocks. Now, obviously, these aren't items, these are blocks. Specifically, they're armor stamps. Their command blocks are directly underneath them. You can see here, each stand has one block underneath it, and it is one block only, with a button for reset, if necessary. And I just put myself in a hole that I can't get out of. So let's put a block here so that I can climb back out later. Just as a note, after reviewing that video, I do realize that the blurry lines reappeared, but there's nothing I can do about standing still while I'm looking inside a command block code, so I apologize. These blocks have this code, and I'm going to go through the code with you one step at a time. So it is a summon command on the command console, and I do have the console set to impulse, unconditional, and needs redstone. That way you have to press the button in order for something to change. But the armor stand is set to appear 2.5 blocks above the command block, and then gravity will make it fall down, but at the directly above. So the X and Z are relative. That's what that little tilde means. This is 2.5 above relative. This is relative. The armor items on the stand include boots of this red color. The color is the Minecraft color code. I looked up the color codes for all of the house colors. Leggings in the same color. Chest plate in the color. And helmet in that color. If I wanted to change the color at any point, I would go in here and just back out these numbers, back out these numbers and type in other numbers or a code that Minecraft understands, like black. I made NoBasePlate so that there's not anything underneath that's visible. And you make that true by using the code 1. False would be 0. Invisible, true, means that the armor stand itself is not visible. And I rotated them so that they didn't all face the same direction. Finally, the true for invulnerable means that they can't be destroyed. And disabled slots set to this particular number means that they're disabled forever. No one can pick up the items off of the blocks. And that means in a survival setting, where if you're in survival, you can't code command blocks. And so the people would not be able to come in here and get the now... Oh, I have to hit the button. I have to hit the button. The, not black, but was supposed to be black, helmet. You cannot pick it up. I just wanted to throw a note in here that black should have worked, but since it didn't, it might be because the command block codes use the decimal code for the number. This is not hex, okay? It's decimal code. So, for instance, the gold is this 167777045. The different colors have different number of digits. you're just going to have to look up what the decimal code for the color that you want is. There are several websites that have the decimal code available to you. So that's the code that we used in Gladrag's Wizardwear. I'm going to fix my station and meet you in the next spot. We're here at the street that leads to the Hogsmeade Inn, and I wanted to show you how I had gone about making this rundown. First of all, bone meal grows evil lawn. See, evil lawn grown because of bone meal. Don't want the post office evil. Another thing that I did was with the windows, I used different colored stained glass to make some of the panes look dirty or broken. And finally, this pathway is either mossy stone or cobblestone or gravel, very interspersed and mixed up the way that the path into the hills was, so it's not a very well maintained street. These elements together tends to give this street the feel that it's just not as loved as some other areas. Nevertheless, the inside of all of these houses is not spawnable. These are still safe places to be, even if they are less than aesthetically beautiful. And now we're at the Hogsmeade Inn. I'm inside, and I've taken out the table under this window to show you how I made the grungy looking table. So first of all, I used very mundane colored oak stairs for the chairs. But then what I did is I put the fence post down like everyone does to make a table. But instead of using pressure plates, I used carpet. And by using the brown color of the carpet, I was able to give it a more grungy feel to it. And then these cobwebs put just everywhere are testaments to how dirty the inside of this bar is. Finally, these bar stools are pistons. You'll notice we have a lever down here at the bottom. And that lever in the on position means that the piston will extend when it is placed. So as you can see, E just extended. If we were to hop down here and turn the lever off, the bar stool would come down. But since it's not likely that anyone's going to dig a hole underneath our bars, we don't have to worry about that. I did, however, just give anyone in a survival map a bunch of pistons, so anytime you don't summon it with a command block, it is mineable. I mean, Minecraft, people. Come on. Aberforth's apartment, being a little less grungy than other places, he has planted flowers outside the window. And he has a slightly larger table, but it's still not the cleanest thing in the world. And to go along with that, he seems to forget to wash his sheets. Thank you, Minecraft, for the different colors of beds. That was a nice thing for you to add. The cobwebs extend all the way upstairs, and we even have a newish patch job where during a goblin rebellion of some sort, somebody threw another wall, through this wall, and when it was repaired, they couldn't quite get the colors the same. All of that together makes for a very dismal appearance for this great room. The last place we'll head today is the local owl office. Of course, these local delivery only owls, I'm sure you can figure out how I made those with half slabs and fence posts and signs. But you may be curious as to how I managed these outside towers. If we do go up straight through the roof, you do see that it is relatively circular, which is quite a feat in a square universe. I mean, the sun is square. Assuming I can... Oh, there it is. Square. Hope I didn't burn anybody's written out. As stated in the video last week, the owl office is not completely unspawnable inside. But that is to be expected. Owls like the dark. And if you're going to have it dark, you're going to have things spawning in there. But that's okay, because owls can take care of themselves. The towers themselves, I used a circle guide that I got off of offline. And I just picked that center point that I just flew up from, that this block right here in the middle. I said, hi, middle, and I made towers that were 9, 13, and 17 blocks in diameter. And I did that so that between each tower, we would have room for the owls to move, so an air block, and a shelf block for the owls to perch on the exterior wall. Just a side note, I will go ahead and put the link for the circle guide that I used in the descriptions at the bottom of the video. And so all the way up, you can always have an owl perched and you can walk around. That makes my estimate of 316 owls, assuming that an owl takes up a little bit more than a block in space. I figure they're going to want room to wiggle their wings, and some of them are going to be excessively larger. So 316 is a good estimate for what the building would hold. So that finishes up our video for today. I'm standing outside Zonko's Joke Shop, all ready for part 3, which will go over Zonko's Joke Shop, the window displays, the workshop in the back, which I'll be very happy to show you in the next episode. I don't expect it to take a week to get there, but I'm making no promises at this point. I'm getting faster at the videos, but the first one, editing-wise, did take me the better part of a week. So we'll see how I can do on getting this one online and getting on to the next one. If you like the video, give it a like. If you like both, give me a subscribe. And I look forward to seeing all of you, those of you that like me and those of you that just haven't made up your mind yet, when we go through Zonko's Joke Shop.